Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today we are discussing a lovely 500-piece limited edition in black ceramic launched in 2024 from Bell & Ross. This is the BR05 Skeleton Black Loom Ceramic. So the Black Loom Ceramic features a matte ceramic bracelet to match its case, the edition number, and a C5 Superluminova that is green by day and green by night. The watch is bigger than the standard BR05, which is 40 millimeters. In ceramic, it's 41. I measure it 11.6 millimeters thick, lug tip to lug tip, 49.4 millimeters. We'll throw it on my wrist. If you're afraid that the ceramic composition will lead to an unnervingly light watch or something that feels toy-like, let me disabuse you of that notion. This is still a fairly hefty and substantial watch. You get your money's worth here, and it's an easy fit. Although it's large and the lug-to-lug might sound intimidating, you can see the shape of the case does mitigate fit issues. From over the top, let's do a distance shot so you can see it in proportion to my arm. I think you can wear this on a 16 centimeter circumference wrist and up with no proportional or fit problems whatsoever. And being fairly thin at 11.6 millimeters, yeah, it will slide under a cuff. The bracelet's fully integrated. That's been the style of the BR05 since it debuted. Of course, the BR05 series came out in 2019, and while there are a lot of integrated bracelet sports watches out there, this one has a particularly good aesthetic and fit, and it's still true to the Bell & Ross instrument style watch, so it's got enough of their design tradition inherent that you feel like it is quite unique, combining the instrument with an integrated bracelet that looks the part, all in ceramic. This is where Bell & Ross's stablemate, G&F Chatelain, really comes in handy. So Bell & Ross, founded in Paris, made its first watches in 1992, but from 92 to 2002, the watches were actually made for Bell & Ross by Zinn of Frankfurt. So Bell & Ross was a Parisian-based design house. Zinn was making the watches. It was only in 2005 with the Instrument series that Bell & Ross really found the core of what its design language would be going forward and gained an identity of its own. So you take that basic look of an instrument, like something you'd find on the flight deck of an analog 20th century aircraft, and now you combine a bracelet. Of course, Chanel is the owner of Bell & Ross. Chanel is also the owner of G&F Chatelain. So getting access to some of the finest ceramic bezel and case technology in the business is a benefit of having friends in high places, or even family, one might say. So we have two links, intermediates and primaries. It tapers down from the lugs towards the clasp itself, which is a twin trigger release. The clasp is made of metal. Close it all, you must press both triggers to open it. It will not pop open inadvertently. Here's something you don't often see on ceramic bracelets: removable links that are fixed by screws, almost invariably, including at the level of Audemars Piguet. Bracelet construction, when ceramic is involved, generally means some kind of retaining bars. So the fact that you can size this quite easily using a jeweler's screwdriver at home means you're going to be able to find a good fit and do it quickly and conveniently. And if you have to resize, it'll be just as easy. The bracelet's held to the case using screws and bars, which I always prefer to spring bars because they're more secure and less likely to end in tears. I've seen some spring bar disasters, guys. Ceramic is a great material because it is so scratch resistant. If, like me, you're getting old and grumpy and have less and less tolerance for character and patina, ceramic is right up your alley. Now, this version is a little bit different than the other BR05 Black Collection watches that came out in 2024. This one is all matte, so it's got a nice subdued anti-glare look. You've got the bolts aligned inside the bezel. Note the complexity of the case with the bezel structure and the many individual facets involved. We've got a screw-down crown with the Bell & Ross ampersand and 100-meter water resistance. We have two crown guards fixed by screws, so if they do get gouged, they can be replaced. A slightly boxed sapphire over dial that is well smoked sapphire. Now, there are other versions of Superluminova used on the BR05 black ceramic series, but this C5 has a lovely green tinge. We're going to do a quick loom shot here so you get a sense of what you're in for. There is quite a lot of action on this dial, and by day you can see the underlying movement. Bell & Ross calls this the BR322-1. I call it the latest version of the Sellita SW300, albeit customized for display dial and display caseback use. The watch is automatic winding with bidirectional winding action, a 4 Hz beat rate, a stop seconds function, 25 pivot joules, and a surprisingly generous 54 hours of power reserve. Sellita finally, I would say, transcending the origins of the SW300, which was the ETA 2892. Sellita's SW300 base now provides 54 hours of power reserve rather than the 2892, an original SW300, which had a 42-hour power reserve. You can see zirconium oxide with the yttrium added, a very hard ceramic composition. We're going to clean this as much as we can. You can see at the center of the rotor the ampersand, individual numbering among the 500 examples made, and a sort of skeletonized rotor that makes it difficult to tell which side holds the mass. It's a cool case back, but this watch is fun because all the action is on the dial side. If you love it, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.